Hi.
Good afternoon, Donna Marie Collins. I'm the hearing examiner that will be serving as the hearing examiner for this afternoon's case. This is a conventional zoning to the CF zoning district. Conventional rezonings are final with the hearing examiner, final decision maker, but you do have the option to request a board hearing. If you want a board hearing, you must do so before the close of the record here today. All testimony and evidence that I accept during these hearings must be taken under oath. Therefore, I will administer the oath to everyone that intends to speak on the record today. Do you swear or affirm the testimony and evidence you enter into the record will be the truth?
I do.
I do.
We don't have any public here, so I'm going to dispense with the remaining introductory remarks, and I just want everyone to know that I've read through the staff report and all its attachments, and I have been by the site already. So it should not take me too long to prepare a decision in this case, but I look forward to
You working
your
this weekend?
presentation. No. Do you need it that quickly?
No.
Not this week, but
You ready?
I'm ready.
Good afternoon, Madam Examiner. My name is Jim Ink. I am an engineer and a planner. I have been accepted as an expert in these hearings in planning and civil engineering and wish to do so today without exception. And while we're discussing that, I have Jason White from Exceptional Engineering, who is the engineer of record and has testified here before as an expert in civil engineering and would like to be tendered also. And in the process is entered into evidence is the PowerPoint presentation, and the second item is the public information meeting that we had a little later than we planned on, but we had. So we're here today for Lehigh Fire Station 107. Oh, no, there it is. And the request is to rezone 1.17 acres at 5105 Leonard Boulevard, South Lehigh Acres, which is in the Lehigh Planning District, from the existing zoning of RM2 to CF. As the examiner probably aware, we used to have different numbers of CF1 through CF4, and now we don't. The county has consolidated everything into CF. So we're asking for this conventional CF so that the district can build a new fire station. The property is located up there, the area around it. Leonard runs from northwest to southeast for fronts of property. Owen runs on the east side that goes down to State Road 82. This is the close-up view. The owners got a little ahead of themselves and decided to clear it and fill it a little bit, and there is a code violation that we're going to take care of as we go along. There was nothing on the site that was a problem. They just got a little excited. Future land use map, it's in central urban. Across the street is industrial. Across the street is a church.
Right.
But it's in the industrial flue that comes down from the north across the canal. I mean, it makes sense when you look at the whole map, but there it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Right, the West Links Industrial Park is further
It's
north, I guess.
North and west, yes. So it does come down from that area. The zoning map, as I said before, is RM2, which is everywhere except that industrial, which is listed as C2. And again, it's a church use that's on that property. In the zoning criteria, we have to comply with the Lee plan. We have all the other of the 7 items that we go through in section 34-145, which I will walk us through at this point. The Lee plan, it's in central urban, policy 1.1.3. This is an edited version. It's not a copy of the actual language, but it's in the urban core, which says most intense, most uses it needs to be, And the intense development patterns will require community facilities such as a fire station, and that's where the district has identified where they put the fire stations, and this is an ideal place to locate it from that standpoint. Policy 2.1.3 allows all community facilities in future land use categories. Objective 2.2 is development timing is new growth with adequate public facilities. This is a public facility, so if it's not adequate today by the use of this action, it will be adequate. Objective 4.1 is we have to have infrastructure. The property is serviced, water and sewer by FGUA. Letter on file from FGUA that says they can service the site, and there's no environmental, historical, or other type of resources on the property. Policy 25.7.3 states that Lee County will work with the fire district, as in public facilities, to appropriately place their facilities in the county. That's what we're asking for today, to be consistent with that policy with the action of if this is approved. Your second criteria is it meets the land development code criteria. I say this is consistent because a development order has been submitted and has been reviewed, and all that's left is DOT and its second round.
Yes, it's the second.
The second round submittal, so it's down to just the last little bit, and then the DO will be able to be issued provided the zoning is correct. Compatible with existing and planned uses. Fire station is kind of unique, but what we have is we have the church across the street on a big piece of property. There's a couple residential duplexes, a little to the east, a little to the south, a lot of vacant property, and a fire station with EMS is not a bad neighbor to have in a neighborhood with good road access, which is D, provides sufficient support in that Leonard is one of the main east-west arterials that run through Lehigh, so it's got good access throughout Lehigh going east to west. Short little jaunt down Owen down to State Road 32. Now you have Immokalee Road, so it does have good access completely around the area. So we believe that we are, have sufficient access for the intended use.
Where is the closest station
To,
relative to this?
there's probably, oh, you have it in stuff?
All right, we'll let Adam.
Yeah, we'll let Adam answer that. I'm not exactly sure. Transportation facilities, that's just talking about what I just talked about, and there is a TIS on file through this and through the development order that the expected impacts for the transportation facilities, level of service, and those type of issues are all consistent with the land development code. F is will not adversely affect environmental critical sensitive areas, natural resources. As stated before, there aren't any. This was just vacant land, no turtles, no owls, no bats, no archaeological Indian mounds. It's a clean site. And will be served by urban services, which the potable water, potable and sanitary sewers, FGCU, sheriff, Lee-Tran, those type of items have letters on file that says they can provide the appropriate services that they need to provide. So, short and sweet, in summary, this is an appropriate place to put a fire station. To do that, we need to get the rezoning to a CF zoning from RM2, which we've asked for. And in my opinion, I think this is the right place and the right time to put it there. With that, I'm open for questions.
I see that the staff report package provided me with the site plan. I take it this is like the landscape plan that was associated with the pending development order?
Landscape plan is part of the development order. I have the site plan, but I did not do the landscape plan.
Okay.
It has the appropriate buffers for the residential uses to the west and to the south.
Right. I don't usually get this level of detail with the conventional zoning, but it was
Yes.
nice to see.
Yeah.
We also submitted a protected species survey too, even though it wasn't required.
Right.
To show there was nothing on the property.
Well, there isn't any more.
Well, actually,
Cleared.
thankfully, we did that before any of that happened.
Okay, anything?
No, thank you. I'm ready for Adam.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Madam Hearing Examiner. For the record, Adam Mendes, Senior Planner with the Zoning Section. I do have copies of staff's PowerPoint presentation. Try to make a little better use of the printing page, so there's a note page if necessary.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Staff's recommendation for approval, as you've seen in the staff report, is approval. It's based on the locational advantage and the size of the scale of the rezoning in question to the CF district. As Mr. Inc. indicated, we're in the RM2 district, adjacent to or across the street from the commercial C2 district where there is a place of worship currently built. The RM2 district has encoded in it several uses that are permitted, including assisted living facilities, social service groups, place of worship, things of that nature are permitted in the RM2 district. So this, while it is a residential district, there is more potential than just duplexes should water and sewer be provided to the site. So the potential there is not just duplexes in terms of its current potential. The property is located in the westernmost portion of Lehigh Acres. You see the city of Fort Myers here, where that extent reaches, and some of the Gateway Airport area. The street here, Owen Avenue South, we've got Leonard and 24th, I believe. All of them are exceptional for access, and if you look at the road network surrounding this area, you can see why this property was selected. If you look at other properties too in the area nearby. The nearest fire station to address that question was, I believe, Fire Station 103, and that is on 308 Gunnery. And I'll confirm that real quick here. Yeah, 308 Gunnery Road South at 3.7 miles east of the subject property, but I believe that's a bird's flight. So it's probably significantly longer going up the...
And what station was that again?
That is Fire Station 103. 308 Gunnery. So that would be,
Gunnery runs to the north,
yeah.
but by the way,
I know it, yeah, it's out of this screen. That's the distance. It's definitely 3 miles bird's flight.
So it's necessary infrastructure to serve the development.
Yes, ma'am. In terms of the use, we can't marry ourselves to this fire station. As we know, if something unforeseen happens and this fire station goes belly up, we do have to justify that the CF district in its whole would fit in on the site, given the land development code safeguards in place. The plan I have here for you just shows, if anything, a depiction of what something developed on the site might look like. Currently, as they've explained, there's a development order in-house. This building is set back about 25 feet from that side lot line, and that's just because of that 25-foot wide landscape buffer that's required between residential uses and non-residential land uses in Lehigh Acres. So this is a scenario where the building is pushed as close as possible to the required landscape buffer, just for scale. This is the landscape plan, so you can kind of see some of the plantings around the perimeter between the type D buffer for the right-of-way and then the 25-foot wide Lehigh Acres specific buffer. The applicant has provided a wastewater and potable water availability letter, and that those services have stretched to this area of Leonard Boulevard South, so the infrastructure is in place. It is appropriate to locate a district like the CF district and its potential. Some of the uses which we've had history on in the CF district that could prove problematic or incompatible or just seem improbable because of the size of the site being 1.17 acres, a bus station, golf driving ranges. Some of those kind of odd uses in the community facility district are unlikely at this scale on this property, given the rezoning requested at this time. So we've weeded those uses out. There's some other uses that we find to be if not compatible, similar to some of the uses that are already permitted in the RM2 district by rider through the special exception process. The concluding remarks are, and I won't regurgitate the staff report, but that staff finds that the conditions of the site and the proposal to the CF district meet the minimum requirements for rezoning compliance with the applicable review criteria, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
My only question is relative to the decision to go with a conventional district versus a CFPD. I didn't have a chance to go back and look at the other fire stations I've approved in the past to determine, but I seem to remember that most of them were CFPD. So my question to you is, what helped you to decide that going strictly conventional was appropriate in this instance?
I actually have an example up Sunshine Road, very similar property, same exact request, CF rezoning. It was on Sunshine. I can get you the address. It was approved in 2018, and it was approved to rezone to CF. The justification was very similar in terms of the scale and the abutting property, the lack of abutting property, if you will. It's really hard in Lehigh Acres to find property that you're not surrounded on multiple sides by residential. So to find an ideal spot like this, that property on Sunshine was very similar. At Sunshine as the main entrance, and there was 2 other entrances on there. Those entrances paired with the abutting residential create a required strip or required buffer on the property. And if you take the net developable area, in this case, I'd imagine it'd be somewhere around 3/4 of an acre after you account for open space buffers. You can really try to picture which of those uses on the schedule of uses could actually happen here. And it's that impractical, practical thought process to help them get to this process through the CF process, which is a much quicker process now that you have the final decision making in it. So that's the basis. I can provide you the rezoning number and the address.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Madam Examiner, for the record, Jim Enck, one of the reasons that we do conventional is just strictly due to the timeline and due to the cost. If we don't need deviations and we don't need, special considerations at that point, in all planning that we're doing today, we're looking at trying to do conventional as best we can.
Also, this is Jason White, the civil engineer. I had done 106 as well, and I had worked on that as well. And it is the same type of scenario as this project, and the reason that we went through that was the time frame was quicker.
So you were able to comply with all the land development code requirements in the context of the DO? It didn't need deviations?
Correct.
Administrative or otherwise?
Correct.
On the 106, on 106, we met everything. I think we may have done like a driveway separation deviation, but everything else was met the code, because we can meet setbacks and everything. That's the only tough one kind of with fire stations sometimes, is because of the road being maybe a collector arterial.
Yes, and that driveway deviation was for just the emergency entrance, the larger driveway apron for the
Right.
fire trucks. I'm going to show you exactly where the site is right now. I know where it is.
And then you just have to give me the reference, because I can look it up. I can take judicial notice of previous cases. I didn't get a chance to do that in advance of this, but that's helpful to know that in Lehigh, we have approved fire stations before without using the plan development district.
Here it is right here. You can see it was actually surrounding RS1. And so
And you can actually
it's
see
a built,
it's built there.
and it's actually a slightly larger site. I think it ended up being.
Yes, that one, that did not have water on that site available, so we ended up having to do fire tanks And so we had a little bit larger, it might have been 1.45 acres, something like that.
The advantage of the water
The water,
services
yes,
here
the water
could really
services.
shrink the site that they
Yes.
were looking for.
So you had to do well and septic?
Yes, ma'am. We had to do a well, on the 106 site, we had to do a well, and we also had to do a fire tank to fire sprinkle the building as well.
So the case is REZ 2019 00013,
I said
and it was a 1.4 acre rezoning from RS1 to CF.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I don't have any questions. This is a straightforward case.
And this one was approved by the board at that time. It required the board's
Right.
approval.
I wonder if that was my case.
It was Amanda's.
It was Amanda's, okay. Some of the older ones I'm not quite so sure on, and this one didn't, but this wasn't that old, so yeah, that makes sense that I don't remember it. All right, well, thank you very much. We will close the record. There's no need for additional supplementation. I thank everyone for coming and for the excellent narratives that were provided in the staff report. I felt well prepared. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.